If Alexander had lived 30 more years, Alexander the Great died in 323 BC at just 32 years old. His death shocked the ancient world. In little more than a decade, he had conquered Greece, Egypt, Persia, and lands stretching all the way to the borders of India. He controlled the largest empire on earth. And then, suddenly, he was gone. His empire fractured. His generals turned against one another, and the future took a very different path. But what if history had unfolded another way? What if Alexander survived his illness in Babylon? What if the greatest conqueror in history had another 30 years to reshape the world? The consequences could have changed everything. Imagine the scene. Babylon, 323 BC. The empire waits anxiously as Alexander lies ill. His generals gather outside. Rumors spread through the city. Many believe the end has come. But instead of dying, Alexander slowly recovers. Weeks later, he returns to public life. The crisis is over. The empire remains united. And the man who had already conquered most of the known world begins looking toward new horizons. Historians believe Alexander had plans for future campaigns even before his death. One of his most likely targets was Arabia. The Arabian Peninsula occupied a strategic position between Africa, Asia, and the Mediterranean. Controlling it would strengthen trade and secure important maritime routes. With Alexander alive, preparations move forward. Massive fleets are constructed. Thousands of soldiers gather. Within a few years, much of Arabia falls under Macedonian influence. The empire grows larger. Its wealth increases. Its trade network expands. But Alexander has never been satisfied with standing still. Conquest is not simply what he does. It is who he is. As the years pass, attention shifts westward. North Africa becomes the next objective. Powerful coastal cities begin falling under Macedonian control. Trade routes across the Mediterranean come increasingly under Alexander's influence. The sea that would one day become Rome's domain is now dominated by an expanding Hellenistic superpower. For the first time in history, a single empire stretches across enormous portions of Europe, Africa, and Asia. The economic consequences are enormous. Merchants travel farther than ever before. Roads connect distant regions. Ports become centers of international trade. Goods, ideas, and people move across continents with unprecedented speed. Babylon stands at the center of it all. In our timeline, Babylon slowly declined. But in this alternate world, it becomes the capital of a global empire. Its population explodes. Its markets grow larger. Its palaces become grander. Scholars, merchants, engineers, and diplomats arrive from every corner of the empire. The city becomes the beating heart of the ancient world. And perhaps the greatest changes are not military. They are intellectual. Throughout history, progress often accelerates when different cultures interact. Alexander's empire creates exactly those conditions. Greek philosophers exchange ideas with Persian scholars. Egyptian engineers collaborate with thinkers from India. Mathematics, astronomy, medicine, and engineering begin spreading across regions that rarely communicated so closely in our timeline. Knowledge moves faster. Innovation becomes easier. Entire generations benefit from ideas that would otherwise remain isolated. Scientific progress may accelerate centuries ahead of schedule. Imagine larger libraries, advanced observatories, improved navigation, more sophisticated engineering. The ancient world becomes increasingly connected, and as decades pass, the empire continues to evolve. Yet one consequence stands above all others: Rome. In our timeline, Alexander's empire fractured after his death. The resulting power vacuum allowed new states to emerge. Over time, one of them became the Roman Republic. Rome expanded. Rome conquered. Rome transformed into one of history's greatest empires. But in this alternate timeline, things are different. A stronger and more stable Macedonian empire dominates the Mediterranean. Rome remains a regional power. Its expansion is limited. Its influence is contained. Without the opportunities created by Alexander's death, Rome may never rise to become the dominant force of the ancient world. The implications are staggering. Roman law changes. Roman culture changes. The development of Europe changes. Even the future of religion, language, and politics could follow entirely different paths. The world becomes less Roman and more Hellenistic. Greek influence spreads farther. Persian traditions remain stronger. A completely different civilization emerges. By now, Alexander is no longer the young conqueror who crossed Asia with unmatched ambition. He is older, more experienced, perhaps wiser. At 62 years old, he has spent decades ruling the largest empire humanity has ever seen. His name is known across continents. His achievements surpass anything imagined by previous generations. He stands atop a civilization transformed by his leadership. But there is one enemy he can never defeat: time. Even the greatest rulers eventually face the same question. Who comes next? This may become Alexander's greatest challenge. Building an empire is difficult. Keeping it together is even harder. Would his heirs possess the talent necessary to govern such a vast realm? Would rival generals remain loyal after his death? Would distant provinces continue accepting central authority? Or would the empire eventually fracture under its own weight? History suggests that large empires rarely remain united forever. Distance creates problems. Ambition creates enemies. Power attracts challengers. Even if Alexander succeeds beyond his wildest dreams, the future remains uncertain. Perhaps the empire survives for centuries. Perhaps it becomes the dominant civilization on Earth. Perhaps scientific and cultural progress accelerate beyond anything seen in our timeline. Or perhaps the empire collapses the moment its founder disappears. The truth is that we can never know. History only happened once. The real Alexander died at 32. His empire fragmented, and the world moved forward along the path we recognize today. But imagining a different outcome reveals just how much influence one person can have on human history. Because if Alexander had lived another 30 years, the world we know today might be completely unrecognizable. Different nations, different cultures, different languages, different civilizations, a different future, and perhaps a completely different world.